Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo.
Apply today and become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co.
And be sure to add our podcast in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of the application.
Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home and who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 294. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G Network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man? Happy post-Halloween, I guess.
Happy post-Halloween. I got my cat up here right now. I gotta. Speaking of Halloween,
he made a special guest appearance on the show.
Made a special guest appearance. That's right. That's Benson. That's the official Rated G cat right there. There you go.
I just call him Benny.
Benny, there you go. Benny from the block. Some of you may notice, if you are watching the video portion of this podcast, I have no beard anymore. It's all part of my Halloween costume, Dan.
We kicked him out of Beard Bros, too. You know,
kicked him out of Beard. I wish I was in Beard Bros. Love those guys.
I said two. I said Beard Bros, too.
Oh, there you go. Beard Bros, too.
Yeah.
So, Halloween happened this
You look
weekend.
a lot different. You look a lot different.
I do, right? Well, you remember when I didn't have this, right?
Yeah.
Gone through many incarnations. I had my head shaved and I had a goatee for a little bit. That was based off a Halloween costume when I went as Kratos one year. And then for this year, I went as Zombie Mario. So I was Mario with a bunch of paint, and I look real good with zombie makeup and the little scars on my arm and underneath my neck and all that. It was official.
If there was no zombie apocalypse, I could have went as zombie Luigi, your older brother, because I'm taller than you.
A little bit, yeah. That would have worked.
I'm taller than you.
That would have been awesome. I gotta say, it was a lot of work.
So what was the inspiration for a zombie Mario costume? What in the world possessed you to be zombie Mario?
Well, doing just a straight Mario costume is easy, right? You get a pair of overalls, you get a red shirt, get some white gloves.
Dave don't care about no easy.
And you get
just like his video games. He puts it on very hard.
That's exactly right, baby. 4 years to beat Batman Arkham Asylum, and I'm proud of that shit. I did it. Didn't back down. And it's the same thing. You're right. Same thing with the Halloween costumes. I want a little bit of a challenge. So I said, okay. And I did it right this year, and I got all the professional style makeup and the professional style little kind of scarring material and whatever. And I got the official medical grade adhesive, which required its special fluid, you get a little spray bottle to take it off. Took me forever to get it off. Took me forever to get it on. It took me forever to get it off. So you can see I posted up a photo on the Instagram. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go to the Instagram, take a look. I spent some time upstate on Saturday. Went to an Oktoberfest. Had a lot of good beer. Had a lot of good German sausage. Was delicious. Listened to the Oompa band. Play all the classic German tunes.
All right. Let me tell you.
It's fantastic.
I admire your dedication. But if I had to go as zombie Luigi, okay, I'm just going to Party City, getting some gray paint and some ketchup and calling it a day. All
sure,
right?
man. You know, hey,
it.
You can make it work.
I'm not. You gotta spray some super solution to get it on and off. I'm good. All right.
No, it wasn't that bad. It's Prozaide, PROS-AIDE. If anyone wants the good shit, that is like legit.
All right. So all right, here's a side question. You're partying all night in your zombie costume.
That's right.
Do you go to bed in that? Because since it takes forever to get it off, do you just go to sleep with the zombie makeup on and stuff?
I took a long ass shower.
Morning?
Took a long ass shower. I did take a nap with it because I was real tired. But yeah, man, I took about an hour shower and about a half an hour in the mirror trying to get all the bits off, and then another shower on top of that. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work if you're gonna do body paint. It's tough. But all
right. Yeah, unless I'm shooting the Guardians of the Galaxy or something, where Drax has to be, it takes 10 hours, 15 hours just to put the makeup on.
I thought you'd be Gamora. Come on now.
No, I mean, you know what? Well, they're both green, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm not gonna go. I'm not dedicated like you. I'll just buy the hat and overalls to call it.
It's a little bit of dedication, a little bit.
I would shave the beard and keep the mustache.
Yeah. I had a big ass mustache because I had the big beard going. Right, it was It was a little hard to get rid of it, but I'm like, you got to do it for the costume. You're already committed. You got to do it. And it was funny. There was a bunch of little kids who were running around, and every time they saw me, they're like, "It's Mario!" And I would be like, running up to him like a zombie. Oh, it was great.
Look at you scaring little kids.
I had a good time. So how was your Halloween weekend?
Well, I was in Texas. Mm-hmm. I was in Texas on business, but I gotta say, I was in Austin, Texas. It's still summertime out there, okay? 91 degrees. So I definitely wasn't dressing up and putting no body paint on or anything like that. So that's
a little warm. It's a little warm.
Yeah, it's a little warm. But they have the best barbecue ever. I gotta say, I've never had brisket. I don't care what. Well, some people in the South may take offense to this, but if you're from New York, I'll just say I'll keep it like that. If you're from the North, if you're in New York, you've never had brisket before until you go to Texas.
Fair enough.
That's all I got to say.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay.
I hear they do it right down there. So tell me about it.
I don't know the lingo. I just said, hey, give me enough for like 2 or 3 people, and he didn't even slice it. He just cut a big chunk and gave it to me.
Oh.
So, also, if you look at our Instagram, I posted pictures of the barbecue. I took a picture of the Austin mural, which is like "Welcome to Austin," right? Because Austin is the capital of Texas. And I had to hit up some video game stores. I had to hit up some retro game stores.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
So I took a cab ride. I took several cab rides actually, 30 minutes north of Austin, and I hit up 3 Game Stops, a retro gaming store, and a Goodwill. Because, whenever you're in town, you got to go to Goodwill. But I think, well, no matter where you are, you always got to hit up the local Goodwill. But I think the days of going to the Goodwill and finding anything is over. Like, they don't even have sports. They don't even have sports games.
This guy with the doom and gloom. No, you're not gonna crush my spirit, Dan. Always going to Goodwill because you never know what you're gonna find.
Okay.
I found an inbox copy of NES Play Action Football for the Game Boy in amazing condition at my local Goodwill.
How many years ago was that? How many years ago was
that?
Like
a year or two ago.
How many years ago? Yeah, that was.
I'm finding PS2 hidden gems all the time. All right, I'm making Metal Jesus blush. I'm finding good stuff.
Over.
No,
it's over. Seeing stadium events. Complete inbox in a Goodwill.
Oh, you're never gonna see that.
It happened like 4 years ago.
I know the people in Queens, no less. Oh my God, your home borough. Oh.
I know. But I went to your Goodwill before I left because I was in Brooklyn.
Why you creeping
Didn't
on my
even
Goodwill?
have sports games.
Why you stay in your lane? You got your Goodwills. Why you going to my Goodwill?
Well, you know what? I was going to that Goodwill before you even moved to Brooklyn. Okay?
Oh, whatever. That's where I found the NES Play Action Football. It's a good spot. They're very nice people.
Well, I think the Goodwill days are over. No, not even sports games. I went to the Goodwill in Texas, and they said, "Yeah, we can't even keep Maddens in stock. People just come up and snatch them all up. As soon as we get games, they don't last a day."
You think it's a strong video game community over there? It feels like it is.
Retro game community? Mm-hmm. They do. I went to a bunch of retro game stores, and of course, I'm not a good co-host. I didn't come prepared with the names of those retro game stores. But if you check the Instagram, I did shout them out. Shout them out on Instagram. All right. Mm-hmm. So if you click on the page, you'll see the 2 retro game stores I did find. And I got a lot of stuff. And check those pages out. Of course, the thing that I'm kind of mad at is the Nintendo Powers. They're going up in price.
Sure.
Like I remember when you can get regular Nintendo Powers for like $4 or $5. Now the cheapest you can finally get it in these stores is like $9.99. So I'm a little peeved at that because I like getting my Nintendo Powers or any honestly retro video game magazine. But it was awesome. They had a good feel. They have a good community, and we'll talk about sort of the retro gaming scene in Texas with PAX a little bit later on in the show. But I do think they have a good retro scene down there.
Sure. I got the Instagram pulled up here. I want to give a quick shout out to Game Over Video Games. All right,
yes, that's what it was. Game Over Video Games.
And Game Fellas in Austin, Texas. Go check them out if you're in the area.
The guy at GameStop, honestly, he told me to go to Game Over. Game Over Games.
Oh, look at that!
Because I said, "Hey, do you have any more PS3 and Xbox 360s in stock?" And he just pulled out a drawer, and it was like 5 of them. He said, "This is all we got.
Nice.
You got to go." And I had all of those. There were comments, and he said, "Yeah, you got to go to Game Over their video games." So I checked. I went to go check them out. So, Dave, we have an awesome show this week coming up. We're going to talk about the rumored new WB Smash Brothers style fighting game. Like, we haven't talked about it before we started recording, but I definitely want to get your thoughts on this. I do think this is real because we did have a leak image of the roster and sort of a stage layout, right? So I think this is real. And WB did come in and take them down.
Yeah. So that that kind of means something.
And we're also going to talk about fans' reaction to Nintendo Online expansion pack. And boy, it's not good at all.
I told you, man. They offered a high price tag, and we'll get into it. I don't want to get ahead.
But before we get into it, let's begin the show with Returnal. I know you love Returnal.
I do.
I liked Returnal. I thought it was okay. Not really my style of game. It's the roguelike. Let me be very clear.
You don't like the
roguelike part is not my style of game. I think the game itself is fantastic.
Oh, it's legit good, yeah.
But I'm someone that needs to memorize sort of the layout and like old school gaming. When you play old school games, it's tough. It's a tough game. You got to memorize the pattern, memorize the layout. That's what I want to do. I don't want it to change on me on the fly. So every time you die, it changes.
Yeah.
But Housemarque has listened to people's complaints, and I think this is long overdue. It should have been there at the launch of the game. They finally added a suspend cycle to Returnal as part of a major update 2.0 patch. So progress, if you're at a certain point, you can't save at a boss battle, but if you're at a certain point, like you can pretty much save the game, not at a boss battle and not in a cutscene when you're in a house.
Right. Or any of the first person segments. So not when you're in the ship, which is the beginning of the thing when you die. But yeah, man, they should have had this from the beginning. It's not that hard to implement. You really just create a temporary save, and then when you get back, your save gets destroyed and you keep going, right? Because you don't want to create a situation where you can save scum and just keep reloading the same save state over and over again. That defeats the purpose of.
Well, they haven't said anything about it, but I think, and I heard heard Spawnwave talk about this. Like, you could potentially save, and it'll save to the cloud. So technically, you can relive that same save if you download that save from the cloud.
Oh, maybe.
That's very possible.
Yeah.
That's possible.
Huh. Okay. But that's like fantastic. That's a super good update that they have, because otherwise, like, PS5 and Xbox, right? They have like even like Xbox One and PlayStation 4, you could like turn off your system, and then when you turn it back on, you could resume where you were in the game, because it would just kind of like save that point, right? But if you loaded up something else, it's gone. Right, so if you try and do anything else, you want to load up Netflix or play another game or whatever, then whatever your temporary thing was is gone. This will allow you to save it, close it down, play something else, play 20 million other things, then come back to the game, and then boot it up, and then have your save there. So
now, did you beat the game yet, or are you still playing?
I'm in the third world out of 4. I think there's 4 worlds. And I made it to the boss of World 3 twice, I think. So that's where I'm at. I'm almost there. More than halfway through.
Okay. So you can benefit from this suspend feature then.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Most definitely. And even after you beat it, you can still go back and play it again. There's still other stuff to unlock. You can get new weapons and items and whatever else. Like there's a lot going on in that game.
Okay.
Another
game that you pretty much love, Metroid Dread, right?
Oh yeah, man.
I know you love this game.
I do.
And I think Nintendo has released a free demo for Metroid Dread. Now, I got to be honest, I missed the time where games got demos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think all games should have demos. Like movies, all movies should have a trailer, right? Like sometimes you're on Netflix and you're just flipping through, and it's like a movie you never saw before.
Yeah, you want to know what it's about.
And sometimes they don't have a trailer in Netflix, and I got to Google it, and it takes me out of Netflix because I have to Google it. Then I'll find another movie that has a trailer.
Yep. Yeah,
so
man.
I think games need trailers.
That was something that the 360 did a very good job of, game demos, because they would kind of push that on their platform. I think they even had like a dedicated button back when they had the blades, and there was a section specifically for game demos. They would promote game demos. You could try it out and play it. But it is like a great way to get someone interested in the game, right? Give them a level, or a fighter, or a stage, or something, a little taste, and ideally they would buy the game off that.
Well, I think we talked about it before. I mean, if you're not going to give a game demo, at least give like a refund policy, like Steam, right? Like,
yes. Steam does it the best, and it wouldn't be hard to implement. They give you I think a 2-hour amount of time, and if you don't like the game, you can get a refund. So it's not a demo. Well, it is a demo. It is a little bit of a trial period, but if you play beyond the trial period, then you can't get a refund anymore. And they give you a certain amount of time to play the game for X amount of hours, and if you don't like it, you can get a refund, which I think is genius, right? Oh, I bought this game. Oh, I don't like it. Gonna return it. Yeah.
I think an hour or 2 hours is sufficient, right?
Yeah.
Like of gameplay. And if it doesn't work for you, you should know. It shouldn't take you more than an hour or two to know if this game is for you.
Right.
Or not, right.
Right.
So,
and we know that it works because Steam has done it at scale, right? Everybody has this. It's not special member bonus thing. You don't have to subscribe to anything. Any game, there's a 2-hour window of playtime.
Dave. You have to be a member of Best Buy's protection plan, and then you'll be able to get a refund.
Oh, my God. Not again. They're just adding more and more value. Jesus.
They just keep adding value.
You know what, though?
Buy a PS5.
You know what, though? If they had as part of that $200 service, if I bought any game from the store and I didn't like it, and I could return it within 2-3 days, maybe.
Okay.
That's not too bad.
Dave, this is the part of the show that I love as we always try to start the show but epically fail.
Mm-hmm.
What have you been playing?
Do you love it as much as me, though, Dan? I know you love this segment.
Maybe not as much as you. You know why? Because I always try to start. Because I always try to start the show what we've been playing, and we always epically fail for the most part. I would say 95% of the time.
You're on a streak. I gotta say, 200 some odd episodes, and we still have yet to start off the show with the games that we've been playing.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Let's keep it going.
All right. Well, I've been playing some classics, Dan. I've been going back and popped in Dead Cells again. I'm playing Dead Cells a little bit.
Another game you love.
It's one of my top 10 games of all time. Another rogue-like. The game genre you just can't get into. But it's a great game.
Give me a turn-based RPG any day.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Well, speaking of turn-based RPGs, Fire Emblem Three Houses, the tactical RPG game on the Switch as well. And I got to tell you, I picked up the digital version of Mario Party Superstars yesterday for the Switch, I want a refund. Well,
wow,
because a bunch of my friends who
know what?
Yeah,
you know what? If you have the Best Buy protection plan, you can get a refund.
If they offered that, maybe I would buy it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, a bunch of my friends who I went upstate with, we were gonna play Mario Party. We never got around to playing Mario Party. So when we got back yesterday, we're like, oh, let's play Mario Party. And I thought they were talking about Super Mario Party. They were talking about Mario Party Superstars, which is basically all of the hits from the old school, like from 1, 2, and 3. So they redid a bunch of the classic levels and the classic games, and that's the one that they're all about. And they decided to play that. So I had to buy it digitally, and my God, their netcode is trash on the Dave scale. Trash. It was unplayable. Way too much lag. Everybody had a hard time connecting. There was a bunch of network issues with the routers, and we all had to do this weird network configuration to get everything to work properly. And then when we got everything working properly, the game would randomly every now and again go down to 1 bar of signal strength and just 1 frame every second. It was terrible. Terrible.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to try and get a refund on this because it was just unplayable. You have to be in the same room to play it. Yeah. Nintendo effed up. So I'm a little salty, Dan. Yeah, I'm a little salty.
Wow. Well, you know what? You just reinforced why I'm not even buying this game.
There you go.
I barely have any Mario Party games.
I mean, it's fun if you're doing local, but we weren't in the same room together. So,
well, this was the first Mario Party game where you could do online multiplayer, right? So this is the first time they're doing this.
I believe so.
And it doesn't work. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It's not Nintendo's strong point. Netcode is not their strong point.
Okay. All right. Duly noted.
What have you been playing, Dan?
I'm not gonna lie. This game came as a total surprise. Total shock. Didn't know I would like this game.
Really?
I don't like this game. I love this game. I freaking love this game.
Would you say it's fantastic on the Dave scale?
I think it's fantastic on a Dave
Wow. Think it's game of the year potential?
Maybe.
Wow. Maybe. All right.
I bought in Texas and beat when I got home in 2 days Guardians of the Galaxy on the PS5.
Is it that short, or did you love it that much that you ran through it?
It took me 22 hours. It's just 3. Well, to me, it's 3 hours short than The Last of Us Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, as a matter of fact, I thought it was too long. I kept thinking, when are we going to end this? When is this going to end? But the story is so weird and out there and good just for how it was told. Mm-hmm. They did a fantastic job with the story. And you know what? I went in thinking, I'm not going to really like the characters because, I like the Guardians of the Galaxy, the movie. The characters grow on you. Maybe it's because, in the movies, you only have There's been 2 movies, really, 2 Guardian, and they're making a third
2
one.
official, yeah, 2 standalone.
4 hours. You have 4 hours with these characters, with the movie characters, where I had 22 hours with these characters, right? I thought, and it had 3 false finishes. That's all I'll say.
Wow.
Like,
all right.
Like the credits rolled, something happens. The credits roll, and I'm like, that's it. Wow, that's it. Okay. And then as the credits are rolling, it says, do you want to go back and change your answer? And I said, change my answer. I didn't even think I answered. I go back, I figure out, I could do this to change my answer, and have another 8 hours of gameplay. And then at the end, when you beat the boss, you didn't really beat the boss. The credits start rolling. The credits start rolling. And then there's the final boss. Right? Nice. After 15 chapters, I thought it was over. It was like, nope, this is a surprise chapter 16. So I will say for all that I love about this game, the things I do have some gamer griefs. Okay. Right, as we call them, right? I found about it was a little bit some glitches. I found some glitches, right? Like if I get ahead of myself, because I'm all about just storming in, right? And just going for it.
Oh, you're Mr. Guns Blazing. I think that's your middle name, Dan.
That's what it is. So I go in, and sometimes I go before in the NPC who's supposed to lead us there because they have story dialogue. Like they want to talk to you in chat, right? As you're like traversing the land. And I got stuck and had to reload the save like 3 times.
Oh man.
So that was a little bit annoying.
Okay.
Something that's super annoying. You can't fast forward or skip dialogue options. Like you gotta listen to everything.
So
you have to.
If there's like a cutscene before a big battle, right? You fight Thanos or whoever the big baddie is or whatnot. You have to, if you die and go back, you got to listen to all that over again.
No. If
okay.
There was one something happened. I'm trying to be vague as possible, not to spoil it. So something happened.
I appreciate it.
And I got stuck. I got stuck because I went in. I was going to the ship. Right. I'll just say I was going to the ship. I wasn't supposed to go to the ship. I was supposed to let somebody lead me. I can't say who. I was supposed to let somebody lead me.
Sure.
So I had to reload the save. So I had to listen to 3 minutes of dialogue all over again. I couldn't just skip it. I had to listen to that dialogue all over again.
I bet they're gonna patch that. They have to.
I don't know if they will.
They have to. That's terrible. It's a quality of life thing. All you got to do is hit A, and then you go to the next whatever dialogue thing.
And lastly, you do like because you control you play as Star-Lord and you control the other Guardians, right? So that's cool in itself. I kind of dig that mechanic. And you're telling them what to do. You tell them what moves you want them to do on who to do it on. But you use every single button on your controller. You use every single button. Okay. L1 and R1 is when you do a special, when you bring the team together, and like if you're losing or you're winning. If you're losing, you're trying to bring the team together for morale, and you get like a temporary like sort of invincibility and power up. If you're winning, you like calm down, everybody. We got to do this together. Don't get too cocky, right?
Yeah.
And R1 and L1 by themselves are important just in battle alone. I kept hitting R1 and L1 simultaneously by accident and doing a special when I don't want to do a special. So that's the part I hate. Right? They should have made R2 and L2.
And you can't remap the buttons at all?
I don't know. I don't think so. I didn't try to, but maybe you can. And if you can, I suggest you remap the buttons to R1 to R2 and L2 instead of L1 and R1, because again, they're just vital to combat in general by themselves. So hitting them simultaneously gets you to special, and you could waste it.
Sure. I've experienced that in games before. So it's like an X and Y situation. Very easy to hit those 2 buttons. Sometimes they do specials or super attacks. Yeah.
The music is phenomenal. They got the license to a lot of 80s music and 70s music.
There you go.
In here.
I mean, you got to, right? That's what Star Wars is all about.
Imagine you call a team together because they're we're getting our asses handed to us, which you do. Okay, you may have to adjust the difficulty setting because they put a lot of enemies on screen, and it's singing, we're not gonna take it, right? Like, and then everyone gets pumped up. It's awesome. A lot of 80s references in this game, right? When you do the flashbacks, and they do reference Star Wars,
like it's in the same universe, or
not in the same universe, but it is a movie
within that world.
Within that world,
interesting, right? And right, because Disney owns Marvel, right? And Disney owns Star Wars now too.
Yeah. So I will say this: if you should pick this game up. That's my recommendation. I don't I don't know if this style game is for you because it's really story driven too, right? That's what got me through it because I want to know how we're going to get through this mess that we made for ourselves, right? They don't follow any of the MCU storyline, right?
That makes sense.
You guys just came together. You haven't been together that long. So you don't have that family or team bonding that you're going to, that you have to do throughout the game. Like there are dialogue options where you can sort of set people's expectations and you can, bring people together or push people away. Right. But the cool thing is there are dialogue options with, let's say, third parties. I'm trying to be as vague as possible. Right.
Appreciate it.
Where you have to convince them to do certain things or spare them. Right. And just like Breath of the Wild, where you can go to Ganon, you don't need to get the 4 divine beasts.
Right. You could just go right
to Ganon, or you can get all you can free the divine beasts, and they will weaken Ganon, so your battle will be a little bit easier. Right. Same thing here. There are other parties that you have to convince to do certain things. I'll say right, or lead them in a certain direction. That when you get to the final battle, they will clear an area out for you, right?
Nice.
I'll say that. And when you're doing dialogue options, after you're done, just make sure you look at the upper right-hand corner because it'll tell you how you did. It'll say, you did not convince them to do this.
Oh, shoot. Okay, so you get like instant feedback.
Yeah, it's like, they don't want to do this for you, or they don't like you very much, or, nice. so where you stand. So I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, and they did help. They did help with getting to the final battle where they would clear areas for me. And there was one instance where I know I screwed up. I didn't convince a certain person to do a certain thing for me earlier in the game.
I love how hard you're struggling to not say anything. Listen, folks, if you don't know one Dan Robinson, he has spoiled so many things. Why? What is it? How come you haven't played it yet? And the game won't even be out yet, and Dan will already know what the end of the game is, and he'll spoil it for me. Be like, come on, boy, why don't you want to know? I'm like, I haven't even played it yet. So I appreciate, I think the fans appreciate even more the restraint that you are showing right now, because I do want to play this game. Come on, man. When I seen Samus Returns, in the game, I tried to convince her to be a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I just couldn't convince her. Imagine. I know. That'd be funny. No, but I do love I'm not gonna lie, I did love the false finishes. They were very interesting. They were interesting. You could let the credits roll, sort of halfway through the game. You could just let it roll, or you can go back and change the decision and get another 8 to 9 hours of gameplay. Right. And I know you love doing a lot of side missions, so I'll say if you're out there, you like doing like sort of not side missions, but like trying to find little trinkets, right? You'll see, this is the way you have to go, but then you see an area where you can knock a wall down and go through. Definitely do that, because there are little things that you'll find in a world that will open up dialogue options with the rest of the Guardians, right? So, there are things that you could do to get Gamora to open up to you a little bit more, and that will build your morale with her, right? And Drax and Rocket, right? So I would say definitely, take your time, because I did, and I didn't even know I was doing that. I thought this was the way to go. Right. Like, oh, no, this is a dead end, but here's
something that you pick up and save, and then when you get on the ship, it opens up dialogue options. So
Nice.
I love this game. I can keep talking about it. I don't want to ramble. I can keep talking about this game. I love this game.
Hey, man.
This game surprised me. It was at E3, and we all scoffed at it and said, "Oh!" And trust me, if you just have a Switch, you should scoff at it because streaming it sucks. It does suck. I heard people having issues streaming this game.
Yeah, man.
But if you have a PS4 or an Xbox, PS5, definitely pick this game up. I recommend it. Nice. And with that said, why don't we take a break, and we come back, we're getting to the top gaming news of last week. And we're back. Let's get into the top gaming news of last week. Let's just start with the Nintendo Online expansion pack. It's out as of October 25th. I was going to buy it, funny enough.
Yeah, you said it was a great value. You were about it.
I said it was a value. Didn't say great.
You said it was a great value.
The word, I think the fans could go back and listen to past episodes. And this is where this.
Well, you said you were gonna get it, so obviously
there we go. That's different.
Value.
That's different. I said it was value. I had value. I didn't say it was great.
Okay.
Not the words I used. And I said strictly for the rewind feature. The rewind feature was great. That's it.
It's a nice feat. Well, yeah, you said the $50 was worth the rewind feature. I disagreed. But
for me, it was worth the rewind feature.
Okay.
But a lot of people are not happy with the N64 portion. Apparently, the Genesis portion works fine.
I think those ports are pretty good. Yeah, or the emulation for them, I guess, is pretty good.
But the emulation for the N64 games apparently is terrible. Low frame rates, input lag, sound effect delay, and texture problems. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, it's like legit missing fog in like The Legend of Zelda. There's the emulators you can get online do a better job of the N64 emulators. The Wii Virtual Console, the N64 games on there are better emulated than on the Switch. Why not just use that emulator? Bring that over. That was fine. People loved it. It's a pretty good version.
And it doesn't allow players to remap the default button layout for the controller, for the N64 controller.
I think you can do it outside of the game, maybe? But they don't let you do it inside the service.
Yes.
Which is annoying, and I don't think it's on a per-game basis either, which is annoying.
I'm still going to get it.
With all that?
I'm still going to get it. So listen, man, I'm doing it for the company. I'm doing it for Rated G. I got to give first-hand experience.
All right. Well, I mean, you can always try it out for like a little bit of time and see how it is,
Well, I can't buy the monthly. I have to buy it for the year.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
And I definitely want to play Musha with the rewind features. I'm waiting to get my Genesis Joy-Con. Yes, anything that Nintendo Online sells, I'm calling a Joy-Con if it works on the Switch.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah.
I still haven't gotten that yet. And then, I can't wait to get my N64 controller when that's back in stock. But people are having major problems, and I got to be honest, this is a little disappointing, right? Like, it's
super disappointing. It makes the already high price tag for the service even worse, right? Like, if this was like a $5 or a $10 add-on and the emulation wasn't great, I think people would be like, well, it's not great, but it's only $5-10.
I disagree. I disagree with you for this one reason. You're spending $50 for, yes, Genesis games, I know, which you can get anywhere for the most part, except for Musha, I think, and N64 games. But what if they would have put out an N64 Mini for $50 or $60 or $70, and it still had this lag? Right? It would have been the PlayStation Mini all over again, and then we would.
Of course, it would have. Yeah,
it would. And we're saying this is terrible that we spent. Well, first of all, it wouldn't have been $50. So let's just say it would have been.
It would have been $100, probably $100.
Yeah, we paid $100 for terrible emulation, right? Where here you just spent $50 and they have a chance to improve it and make it better and add more games.
Well, that's true because it is an online service. I don't know how soon they're going to fix it, if they're going to fix it. Yeah, I don't know.
Just know that the Nintendo Online announcement video on Nintendo YouTube channel has the most dislikes out of any other video on the channel. Yep,
which is, I think, rightfully so. I mean, even before
and
anybody got a chance to use it.
They won't do anything.
No. And, you know, yeah, it's not great. There was a leak. There were some data miners who found more information, more games coming down the pike. That's great, but fix the games you do have on the service. Because I don't want more games that also play badly. I want a couple of games that play great, and then you can start adding more games to it. All right, fix the stuff you have. Don't give me Mario Party until Ocarina of Time is fixed. All right, because you're not going to bring more people to the service if your service isn't good. And right now, the N64 portion is not good.
Well, there's a rumor that they were going to bring WWE games, right? Or WWF.
That'd be crazy.
WWF WrestleMania and WWF No Mercy.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, okay, you would have to strike a deal with WWF, obviously. And there's no union. There's no wrestling union. So all you got to do is strike the deal with WWF.
Oh, yeah, that's right. McMahon owns the rights to everything.
So my I would love to know how they would do, because everything that's WWF is sort of retcon, right? Like they hide the logo or put the new WWE logo. So how would they have a WWF game back from 2000?
Oh, wait. So are you saying if you watch like classic matches, right? You watch WrestleMania 3 with Hulk Hogan and Mr. T, right? I think it was WrestleMania 3. They will hide.
WrestleMania 1.
Okay.
Yes.
WrestleMania
3 was Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant.
That's right. They will obscure the logos for the classic stuff.
Yeah. So what they do is it all depends on what they're showing, right?
Sure.
They'll hide the little they hide the little, you know, it's the F, you know. They'll just hide the F part. The F.
It'll just be the W.
It'll just be the W, or they'll blur it out completely and put the WWE logo in front of it, right? Or the turnbuckles, right, have the WWF logo on it, so they have those blurred out completely.
Wow.
So yeah, they do those.
Okay. Yeah, I guess they'd have to do it for the game.
It's the lawsuit with the World
Wildlife
Foundation. I think it was Foundation. Yeah. So yeah, I guess they would have to do that for the game. But I don't want No Mercy in WrestleMania. WrestleMania to me, because that was the game I never had No Mercy, so I have more nostalgia for WrestleMania. So I want WrestleMania, but I want a WWF whatever game, and I want a WCW game.
Oh yeah, WCW Nitro, right? Wasn't that Nitro?
WCW Nitro, WCW versus NWO was the one.
Yeah,
that's the one, and that's the one that started it all, really, right? Because they worked on those games first, and then they worked on WWF games.
Yep. They were classic, man. They were classic.
Yeah, I would love to do that. That alone, the price of admission for the Nintendo Online service, lag, frame rate issues, and texture pop problems, I'll take it.
Oh no! I'm sorry. I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to pay an extra $30. I mean, we were just talking before the break about the Mario Party Superstars. I'm not gonna pay for that bad experience. No, that. Yeah. And I'm not recommending this to everybody, but I'm just saying there's alternative options out there. There are PC emulators and Linux emulators and Mac emulators that you can get that do a much better job, and you can get the ROMs by whatever means necessary.
If anybody,
you can play them fantastically.
If anybody in Nintendo is listening, we are not recommending anybody.
We're not condoning that. We're just saying
not condoning that.
They are out there if you want to do it.
Nope. I mean, there are lots of things out there that you could do. You know, not to say that there are drugs out there. I'm not saying you should use drugs.
Exactly. Well, we're definitely not condoning that. Whoa. Let's not get it twisted. Yeah. But I'm just saying, Rated G officially does not condone emulation. in that
No,
respect.
not trying to.
But we're just
not
saying
trying to
that,
get not trying to get sued.
It's out there if you want to have a better experience.
I'm just saying fix the online service, but I'm still gonna buy it.
Yes. Oh no, I'm gonna wait. Although actually, I'm actually in a family plan, so I'm probably going to be forced into buying it. So it is what it is.
Okay, there you go.
But it'll only be $10 a year.
We'll play Mario Kart 64 together.
Fine. Yeah, there you go.
Best Mario Kart game of all time.
Uh-huh.
Something that I'm also going to buy. I'm going to get this day one, and that is Halo Infinite. Now, when they first showed Halo,
you didn't pre-order it?
No, they pre-ordered it.
Man. Oh man!
No, you kidding me?
I got my pre-order from Best Buy, baby. I'm ready to go.
Oh man, there you go. Best Buy just has value in everything. You pre-order games, you get protection service, you can return games with the protection service. You can do everything. You
just making up all these fake features. It's great.
You buy a PS5 with the protection plan. They do everything, man. They even
when it's in stock. When it's in stock.
They even give you movie tickets with the protection plan.
What?
Look at that.
What?
It brings you coffee and donut in the morning if you get the protection plan. That's what the Best Buy protection plan does.
I wish.
But we saw this game, 2020, right? 2020 E3. People thought gun wasn't gritty enough, wasn't dirty enough.
Oh, you're talking about the demo. Yeah.
No. I'm talking about we saw gameplay, right? When the game we finally saw gameplay.
Yeah.
At E3 2020, people said the gun wasn't gritty enough. It wasn't dirty enough. There was enough, not enough grunge on my gun. All right.
Among other things, yeah.
Yeah.
They were not happy with the graphics. They're like, send it back. Put it back in the oven.
That was the meme I saw. Yeah. So they delayed it a year, which kind of apropos, right? It's the 20th anniversary of Halo in general.
Yep.
Right? Coming out.
Yep. November 15th will be the day. Yeah.
So we saw multiplayer gameplay over the summer. We finally saw a gameplay of the campaign.
We got to play multiplayer, and it was great.
Oh yeah,
they had those open.
You played it.
I did.
You played it,
and I loved it.
Sort of open babies. And I feel like Halo Infinite is going to launch twice, right? Because the campaign's going to come out in December.
Yep.
And then we're gonna get multiplayer like in February or March or something like that. Which
is
I'm
it that far out?
It is that far out. It's definitely. Shoot. I think it's like February or March or something along those lines. It's definitely 3 to 4 months after the campaign launches.
Oh, I thought it was okay. Yeah, I thought it was the other way around.
No. The campaign comes out in December, and then we're gonna get the multiplayer in 2022. What did you think about the gameplay? Now, was your gun dirty enough? Was it grungy enough? Did it look like it had some scars on it?
I thought it looked fine before, to be honest. So I'm not the man to ask, but I do think it looks beautiful, even more beautiful now. It was well worth the wait. It was well worth the year wait. Not to mention all of the tweaking and the play testing and the reworking of everything. And I'm sure they put a lot more effort into the missions and how everything plays out and the paths and the story you can kind of craft from it. I'm sure all that is even better than it was before. Yeah, it looks 100% amazing. I think it looks better than the campaign of 5. I'm excited to use the grappling hook. Yeah.
I was tempted to play through 5 again.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get caught up on the story. I mean, 5 was so long ago. I beat it. It took me I took my time with it and I beat it within a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I told you I was very disappointed because I thought we were really going to get it was false advertising. I thought
you thought there was going to be a big conflict and there wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought Locke or Master Chief would be the big enemy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Master Chief would be the enemy without knowing you're the bad guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Locke would be the big bad guy without knowing he's, on the wrong side of things.
Yeah, that would have been a nice twist, right? But they didn't have an Amy Hennig to pen their game, so.
Which we'll talk about her later in the game. A little tease.
Right in the show,
little bit later in the show. But I thought the gameplay looked good. I liked it before, too. I wasn't one of those, my gun wasn't grungy enough, right? Wasn't dirty enough. But
sure.
I'm looking forward to this. I'm happy it's coming out. And I personally have high expectations for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking in my head, this is going to be my game of the year, even though, not going to lie, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is amazing. It's
gonna be a tough run. Now, are you excited about the kind of open world aspect of it? Because it is kind of choose your own adventure. You can do this or do that. You'd rather have the linear story. I figured.
I'm not much for the Far Cry Outpost style game.
Well, I bet what they're going to do is there'll be the critical path, which is the way to get to the next story beat, and they'll have the optional stuff, and they'll make it very apparent what's what. So I
hope so.
You won't even have to do any of the other stuff if you don't want to. I'm sure there's a lot of optional stuff in the game. You know, here's your main objective, and here's 3 other objectives you can do if you want, and it'll change up the gameplay a little bit or whatnot. So I think you may get what you want at the end of the day. I'm sure there's going to be big story beats that are going to get hit regardless, and that's going to be the really fun stuff. But
I hope so. That's what I want. I really don't want to have to sit here and pick which outposts I want to, free. That's not
right. You don't want to grind up XP and all that. Yeah, no.
That's not what Halo is to me, right? Like that's not a Halo game in my eyes, right? Like I understand that, but that's not something that I want. Give me the linear path. Tell me this is where I need to go at least.
Yep.
So, all right, let's switch gears. Let's talk about WB, Warner Brothers. There's a rumored WB game that's sort of like a fighting game in the style of Smash Brothers.
Sort of. It is.
It is Smash Brothers. It's a Smash Brothers clone. There was a leak. An actual sort of leak of sort of the fighting screen where you see all the fighters.
All right, the character selection screen, yeah.
The character selection screen and the layout of like the battle arena that Warner Brothers has since sort of went around the internet to have people take it down, but you can still find it if you look for it. We're not going to post it anywhere. And I don't know if this is the code name or what people are coining the name of the game, but it's sort of called Warner Brothers Multiverse, where you get sort of a battle of all the characters. Now, you may say, what kind of characters does WB own? They own the DC. They own DC, right? So you have Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn. I think Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. I didn't even know they owned Scooby-Doo. Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
So weird.
Which is kind of weird that they won't have Scooby-Doo himself as well on here.
Well, I mean, maybe. You don't know. You don't know.
DLC characters, right? Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. Rick and Morty. Rick from Rick and Morty.
Morty, yeah.
Bugs Bunny. I forget about that.
That's WB, yeah. It's Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Tom and Jerry. They own Tom and Jerry. Like, I didn't even think about that. They own those old cartoons, those old cartoon IPs, right? They own all of that. So
yeah, they do.
I'm actually looking. I hope this is true. It's probably most likely true, and I can't wait to see this.
It's definitely true. You're excited?
I can't wait to see this. I am excited. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I know you're not excited. I know you hate this.
Well, it's a mismatch of random properties that they own. Go ahead.
Well, you remember Batman? Was it Bold and Beyond and Bold or whatever?
The Brave and the Bold.
Brave and the Bold. Mm-hmm. That was the Batman after the Batman animated series after Justice League. That was the Batman cartoon that they came out with that was more cartoony like and not gritty and I guess not realistic. I don't want to say realistic, but it was like more. It wasn't the animated series was more dark in tone and gritty. Where this is more bright and cartoony. Obviously, this is the Batman and the Superman and the Wonder Woman and the Harley Quinn that you have to have when you have Scooby Doo and Bugs Bunny in it. So
right, it has to match tonally.
Yeah. Netherworld isn't developing this game. We don't know who is developing this game actually, but it has to be cartoony in style. There's not going to be any fatalities or any blood. But I like Smash Brothers style. I like Smash Brothers. I love Smash Brothers. I love
Smash is the pinnacle. Games. That's the gold standard. Yeah.
And the only game to ever come close to not beating Smash, but they came close to being on that level or close to the level of Smash was PlayStation All Stars, right? Which I think they can totally pull off better today than they did 12 years ago or something like that, right? Because today they have the IP. They have the IP to go.
I was excited for it. Yeah, and that's the thing. You want to see all of those characters. They mostly all work together. right? I mean, I'm with you on the PlayStation All Stars. I think it's a good game that could use a sequel for sure. It's tough to do though,
Well,
like,
they would have the IP, right? Like they would have like Aloy. I mean, you could take away Big Daddy, you could take away Dante,
right?
Because those aren't sort of
Bring in
PlayStation.
Bring in the characters from The Last of Us, right? Bring in some more Uncharted characters.
You can even have Spider-Man, right? Because Spider-Man is sort of kind of like a Sony
technically,
IP,
yeah,
right?
you could probably work that out, right?
You could probably work that out with Disney.
Mm-hmm.
That I think but just because they haven't come close, everybody is talking about Smash Brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we gotta wait after Smash Brothers Ultimate, we gotta wait another 10 years, maybe 6 years to get another Smash Brothers game. I like this style of game. Mario Kart started a genre, right?
Yeah.
Where we got kart racing games, and we got
who's the king of the heap? Who's the king of the kart racers?
Mario Kart's still the king.
Thank you.
But we have, Sonic Racers came behind that, right? Like
sure.
they sort of took that idea.
Sega
I know
All-Stars
Nickelodeon,
Racing, yeah.
Yeah, Nickelodeon
Crash Team
has
Racing, there's
Crash Team Racing, Diddy Kong Racing. Some people think it's like at the time was the best kart racing game ever at the time, right? Diddy Kart Racing.
Yeah. Diddy Kong Racing was good, but by comparison, the Brawlhalla game, not great. The Nickelodeon one that just came out, which is what this reminds me of, is also not great. I took a look at the reviews for the Nickelodeon one, and they're like high 60s at best. And the game,
look at the
yeah,
I understand that, but take a look at the Nickelodeon kart racing game, the second one, not the first one.
It's okay, yeah.
It's okay. They're getting better, right? So Nickelodeon Smash Brothers, which is what I'm going to call it. Part 2, when they inevitably have it, will be better than the first one, right?
Still not going to take down the king, though, is what I'm saying.
I'm not saying this is a Smash Brothers killer. I'm just saying, when Street Fighter 2, because Street Fighter 1 was terrible.
Trash.
When Street Fighter 2 when Street Fighter 2 came out, people didn't compare. Like we still had Mortal Kombat, we still had King of Fighters.
They're different though, and they're great. They're
True,
still fighting games.
But we all compared them because they were side-scrolling fighting.
Oh yeah,
games
no,
100%. So we still compared them, but we still had our terrible 2D. We still had a terrible 2D Street Fighter clones that were just terrible.
Listen,
Eternal Champions. Champions was horrible.
Yeah. Nobody played Martial Combat from Konami. Nobody played Time Killers, right? Or Bloodstorm. No, they were all terrible.
I know, but what I'm trying to say is we had a world where Mortal Kombat was popular, King of Fighters was popular, but no one could beat the king of Street Fighter, right? Like, no matter how hard you got, Street Fighter was like the king of all the fighting games. So yes, Smash Brothers would be the king of all sort of this style of fighting games, but we could still have the PlayStation All-Stars. We could still have the Nickelodeon games, and we could have this WB style fighting game, the multiverse.
I'm down for them to try, but yeah, it's going to be in the mid-60s. I guarantee. Plus, are you excited to play as any of these characters together? I mean, come on now.
I want to have Batman and Superman. Superman.
Play Injustice. It's a fantastic game made by NetherRealm.
Batman. I want a cartoony Batman and Superman versus each other.
Oh my god. It's not enough of a draw. Gandalf is cool, but Shaggy, come on now. Bugs Bunny.
You never wanted to see Shaggy versus Rick from Rick and Morty. Come on, everybody wanted to see that for years. That's
the dream matchup. Sakurai. Come on, you got to put Shaggy in there. Said no one ever.
That's the Pacquiao Mayweather fight that everybody wanted to see right there.
Oh
Shaggy and Rick from Rick and Morty. That's what everybody wanted.
Right. So, it was number 3, right below Goku and right below Sora. Number 3 was Shaggy.
There you go.
It's the one nobody talks about. Put him in Smash. Oh.
Well, something that no one's going to be talking about 6 months from now, and that was the Sony State of Play that came out last week.
Oh,
say you scarf, but you know what? We've already established in September, like 5 shows ago, no, more than 5 shows, more like 8 shows ago, we've established that when Sony has a State of Play, that is the equivalent of a direct mini, which is always disappointing because we never get the major game that we want from the direct minis, right? We never get the new Metroid. We're not going to get a new Smash Brothers. It's a direct mini, right?
It could still be a snooze fest. I mean, I'll be consistent. You know, Nintendo has a ton of snooze fests. They don't have a lot of info sometimes, and I'll call them out with that.
And then when Sony sort of has a showcase, right? When it's like a Sony showcase, that's the big thing that we're gonna get, like a brand new big AAA, style games.
Look, it doesn't have to be big AAA games. It just have to be interesting.
Well, I thought this was interesting, right? Okay, so let's start. I'm not gonna go through every single game here because this was. Again, a direct mini, right? I call this a Sony direct mini, it's a state of play, and a lot of indie games in here as well. But we got a Deathverse, Let It Die, right? Sort of like a multiplayer style Smash Brothers inspired, type of game. Survival. It's like a survival game.
Battle Royale style, yeah.
Battle Royale, yeah. I thought this was an interesting style game. I was like, oh, okay, cool. They started off cool for me, at least. And then
it's a multiplayer game, though. You're not going to play it.
You know what? Listen, I can admire it from afar and not play it.
I don't know how you can get excited for a game that is not the genre that you're into. Yeah, I mean, it had a good aesthetic.
I'll give you that too. I was excited for Octopath Traveler. Not something that I would want to play, but I was excited for it because it's brand new, right? New IP.
I mean, okay.
We got the DLC for Bugsnax, which was Bugsnax, the idol of Big Snacks, which is a weird name. But I didn't get a chance to play Bugsnax. I didn't get a chance to play Bugsnax.
Neither did I. I don't think a lot of people played Bugsnax.
Well, no, it was free for play. If you owned a PS5 early adopter, if you got it when it first came out, it was a PlayStation Plus game. So I didn't get a chance to.
So nobody had it. Get it. Because you couldn't get a PlayStation when it came out.
Well, everybody who was an influencer had it.
I guess so. Yeah.
They got it for free, but you can still buy the physical version. I'm just waiting for that price to go down. I'm not spending $70 for it.
No.
Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. We got a trailer for that. That's out, but that makes sense. I mean, it's a state of play in October, and Five Nights at Freddy is sort of like a horror game.
So, I mean, sure. I never liked the franchise, so that's kind of
not my cup of tea, but we'll move on. Yeah. Dude, we just talked about kart racers, and we got Kart Rider Drift. And this is a game that looks super interesting. Come on, you can't tell me this didn't look interesting that you would want to play it. Come on.
No, I'm just gonna play Mario Kart because it's fantastic, Dan. It's the best. I'm sorry. There can be more than one good kart racer, but I haven't found one that I'm like, I'm gonna go back to this game. This is my game. All
right. You know what? Kart Riders Drift, definitely going to be your Christmas gift this year.
I mean, I'll take it.
We got the King of Fighters 15, and we got a beta.
Sure.
Well, we got a trailer for King of Fighters 15, which we already knew was coming out, but we're going to get the beta, a playable beta, November 19th. Right? And then for me, I think this is sort of the mic drop moment for people who love RPGs, especially an old RPG. We're getting a new Star Ocean game, Star Ocean: The Divine Force.
Yep.
Now, I accidentally own Star Ocean games. I own one on the PS2, and I own one on the 360.
Not accidentally. You didn't seek them out, but...
I didn't seek them out. I bought them in, lots, right? Garage sales.
You say that like it's a bad thing. It's a great thing because those games hold their value. Star Ocean games are very good.
And Star Ocean games aren't cheap, but games I wouldn't play. Not my thing.
So
come on,
cool.
You're not excited for a new Star Ocean game? Is it?
Oh, I am. I am. This
okay,
this is like probably the highlight of it. It's made by Tri-Ace, who's been doing it since the beginning, so that's awesome. They're coming back to the well. I kind of forgot about the Star Ocean franchise. I think the last one was on the PS4 a couple of years ago. I own it. I just haven't got around to playing it yet. But it looked kind of cool.
Okay.
And
some people have been down on that, actually. Spawnwave said it looked iffy. And I'm like, I thought that, it looked great to me, but, this isn't my style of game. So I thought maybe you, especially you, I know you love RPGs. I thought this would be more up your alley.
It's not my favorite franchise, but I definitely like the the Star Ocean games. The game that really got me, I think it was the last one they showed, but Little Devil Inside. And I know we
game
saw
that we
this
already knew
before,
about. Yeah.
but we actually got to see some gameplay, kind of what it's about, and it looks super cool. You take a train, you travel around the countryside in like this Victorian steampunky style world, which is like kind of cool. And I don't necessarily know what the gameplay is about. It was still a little bit cryptic, but I know you do crafting and you talk to townsfolk and you travel around this kind of like English countryside. But
Oh, Dave, you lost me. You said crafting.
I mean, come on, every game's got craft. God of War is crafting. You can't get away from it.
Yeah, you lost me.
Hell, FIFA's got crafting, basically. You make your own damn FIFA Ultimate Team.
All right, I know this was a little bit lackluster, but it had something for
A little bit
people,
lackluster.
right?
Dude, I got a pillow out and I took a nap.
Oh, whatever.
Listen, I've been high on these last couple PlayStation showcases, all right? So I'm allowed to have a negative opinion every once in a while.
Well, that's just it. The showcases were great. The state of plays have been a little bit lackluster in comparison because, again, they're direct minis.
It's fine.
The equivalent of a direct mini.
It's fine. Look, they can have a bad show. It's okay. They all can't be W's.
I didn't think it was an L. Maybe come on. It was a tide. It was a tide. Come on.
Okay. All right. Fine. I'll give you
Football. We're playing football here. Playing
It was
actual
a
American
tie.
football.
All right.
It's a tide. All right. Let's talk about something that's not going to be a tide. It's going to be a home run. Hopefully. You know why? Because Amy Hennig is going to be the lead on this. It looks like Marvel has announced a new project with Amy Hennig in her new game studio for PlayStation. Right? PlayStation's just scooping up all these Marvel IPs.
Yeah.
We don't know much about this, but I bring this up to ask, what would you want to see Amy Hennig do? Like, what game, what story? Because you know it's going to be story driven. What would you want to see Amy Hennig do?
Give me
Marvel IP?
Give me an open world X-Men game with 5 or 6 heroes, and let me switch between different heroes for different missions. Put them in New York or wherever, upstate, wherever Professor X's place is or whatever. Have them play in a game world, and I think that'd be awesome, right? You get like an Iceman, a Colossus, maybe like a Jubilee, maybe a Storm, I don't know, maybe like a Forge or Cable, get me like, give me one of those less popular Marvel superheroes, 5 or 6, you can kind of switch between them, or certain characters can only do certain missions, put them in an open world game. Oof, that's my jam.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. I don't know this to be sure, but I don't think Amy Hennig wants to do something that's already like super established, like the X-Men. I could be wrong, but I think, from a storytelling aspect, she wants to be able to take some liberties, right?
Well, I don't know if it's up to her what the IP is, though, right?
Well, if they're coming to her, right? Good. Well, let's rewind. Amy Hennig was working with EA, sort of on a Star Wars game.
Yep.
So she was working sort of with Disney anyway, and that story-based game was sort of canceled reportedly in favor for more of a game that they can monetize. Right?
Yep.
So,
that was where Battlefield, I think, came out over Battlefront.
So no, this was. I mean, it was completely canceled, and then we got. I forgot what other game we got. Then they announced Jedi Fallen Order, and we're like, well, this is just a story-based game. Well, that's
maybe that was
they didn't want to have 2 story-based games.
That was probably what came from the ashes of the Amy Hennig game.
Yes, probably.
I think so, because Battlefront and then Battlefront 2, they got burned on that, and then they're like, all right, we're gonna fix it. Here's this awesome single-player game with no microtransactions, and they did. They killed it. I mean,
but I think Amy Hennig, again, Uncharted series, Legacy of Kain, fantastic stories. I think I'm trying to, pick her brain. Like, I think she would want to be able to sort of have a clean slate. And, X-Men have so many different stories that have already been told.
Yeah.
I personally would want to see her, and I hope that she would want to do something brand new, right? Like, again, I just played the Guardians of the Galaxy. Love that game. That story was out of this world. I've always known about the Guardians of the Galaxy, but until 6, 7, 8 years ago, nobody in pop culture knew who they were, right? They weren't popular, right? They
Not
were
at
sort of
all.
an
I had no
obscure
clue who the
comic.
Guardians were. Yeah.
They were an obscure comic and trading cards that I had back in the early 90s. So I
Mm-hmm.
always knew about them. And, I didn't really know much about Star-Lord. I was just like, that's the team with the raccoon on it. Right. So that was how I knew about them.
Right.
Because I was weird that they have a raccoon. I would want to see her take on an obscure Marvel character or team.
Okay. Like what?
Okay, I have two suggestions. She can go semi-obscure that still has some lore in X-Men that they can pull from and do X-Force, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do an
Okay.
X-Force game where, you can play as Havoc, who is, Cyclops' little brother.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a team. Every team has like, the leader, the big strong guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Fantastic Four. Everybody has like a thing or an
Mm-hmm.
Incredible Hulk or something. I think you could do, and they had different iterations. Like Cable was a part of that team at one point. Bishop was a part of that team at one point, and the X-Men. So you could pick and choose which storyline and go from there, or you could just completely do a clean slate with something that nobody knows about and do Alpha Flight. An Alpha
The
Flight game.
Canadian superhero team?
They were Canadian X-Men.
Okay.
They were Wolverine was a
deep
part
then.
of the Wolverine was a part of the Alpha Flight, and then he left Canada and to go and be an X-Men. I mean, he didn't leave to
defected.
go be an X-Men. He
defected.
left Canada,
Mm-hmm.
went to the United States, and then he became an X-Men. So,
Wow. Okay.
I would love to see them do sort of like an Alpha Flight and make them popular. Make them popular. Make
I mean,
people understand
all
who
it takes
they
is
are.
one. All it takes is one good property. You bring him right into the spotlight. No one knew who Iron Man was, and now Iron Man's like the most popular superhero.
I think Iron Man was a little bit more popular. I think Iron Man was a little bit more popular.
He was like a B tier superhero.
Yeah, but you knew who Iron Man was, I think, but you didn't hold any nostalgia or care who Iron Man was. Like you knew, oh yeah, Iron Man. Yeah, Iron Man. I don't really know his background, but yeah, I've heard of Iron Man when I was a kid, right? So let's get serious for a minute.
Oh,
I want to get a little bit serious.
okay.
We are collectors, both.
Yes.
I'm almost up to 5,000 games. I'm like 350 games short, 5,000. We love physical media, and that's our generation and maybe the generation behind us. And I think the new generation in the last 10 to 15 years, I don't know what letter they are.
They are Gen
called.
Z. Gen Z.
But the people who were born sort of in the mid 2000s to now, I think won't have nostalgia for any physical media.
I don't think they
Right.
have nostalgia now. Yeah, they don't even know what a file system is on a computer. They don't know what folders are, Dan. They don't know dialing a rotary phone or putting on a record and moving the needle to play it. I mean, there's these things they'll just never know. Or a dial-up modem sound.
Whatever the generation is, if you're a teenager right now, when they have disposable income 10 years from now, and then the generation behind them, that will completely eradicate sort of physical video games.
Oh yeah.
Right? I think there'll still be a retro game scene, and prices will go up because there won't be any new ones being made. Right?
Yeah.
Everything will be digital.
Yeah.
But the government just pushed us in that direction. They did, and I'm gonna tell you why, because this is very important. The U.S. Copyright Office just gave gamers limited rights to repair consoles, and very limited rights. Now, if you don't know this, if you have a video game console and it breaks, you sort of void the warranty. Well, whatever warranty there is on it.
Not sort of. You do void the warranty.
You do warranty if you take it to a third party repair shop.
Or you try and do it yourself.
And you try to do it yourself. They want you to send it back to them. Nintendo wants you to send it to them. Microsoft wants you to send it to them. Sony wants you to send it to them to fix for a price, or just buy a new one.
Yep. So if you ever look on the back of your systems, you'll see a little sticker, and it's a tamper-proof sticker. So it's not like you can just kind of peel the sticker off and then put it back on. You will actually rip the sticker and leave like a void thing on the back or whatever. They make those purposely for that. It is very hard, if not impossible, to get your system open without destroying that, right? And all the big corporations were like, well, you don't know how to fix the thing. It's a very delicate piece of equipment, and you got to let a professional handle it. And that professional is Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo, all right? And it's
Just
always been that way.
Yeah, and Sega before them. But
And Sega too, yeah, everybody. Yeah.
So they have given you the limited right to repair one thing on your console, just one, and that is the optical drive.
Yeah.
Now, why do I say? I mean, there've been rights to repair groups out there fighting for the right for third parties to repair, and it's
My
just
boy Louis Rossman.
Let the market fall what it may. If it's cheaper to go to the manufacturer, then you go to the manufacturer. If it's cheaper to go to a third party in the city, right, or wherever you are, then you can go there. That's what we want. Free market, right?
Oh yeah, I can guarantee you the third parties are going to be cheaper.
But we don't have that. We don't have that.
Not at the moment. No.
This is an important first step into having full right to repair in the next 50 years, because it's taken this long to get just the optical drive.
Yeah.
But why do I say this is pushing us into all digital future a little bit faster than expected, right? Because I was always under impression. I always said this isn't the generation PlayStation 5 and the Series X will not be the last physical media generation. Maybe the next one after that will be the last, but not this one.
Sure.
I'm starting to second guess that now because of this ruling, and I'll tell you why. Companies don't want you to open their system and repair anything, right? They don't want you to have the right to repair anything. So if you have the right to repair an optical drive that's broken, because they know everything now is sort of like, I mean, the government is slow as anything to adopt anything. I work in a legal field, okay? We're slow to adopt. We were
come on, Dan. You're part of the problem.
We were forced to do Zoom court calls, okay,
right,
because of the zombie apocalypse.
Right.
We would have never did that. We do now Zoom notary, right? Like now we can do that.
How's that work?
New York State law. You have to show me your ID. And you sign the paper. And you overnight it to me.
Oh.
Well, you send it to me.
Okay.
And then I can stamp it. And then I can stamp it.
Okay. Interesting.
Right. So you weren't physically in front of me, but you were virtually in front of me.
Right. And you validated the ID as best as possible. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now companies are just going to be like, okay, fine. We'll just do away with the optical drive and have it all, all digital future. Because if you have a Series S or if you have a PlayStation digital system, this doesn't apply to you. There's nothing on that machine.
Right.
So they don't have optical drives that you can fix.
Right. Well, I mean, they're getting rid of the optical drives anyway, right? That's
they've taken a step to get rid of them, but it's not totally gone.
I mean,
the Series S. I tell you right now, I know we joked about the Best Buy thing, and you can't get a Series X and you can't find a PS5. I've been in Best Buy and Target, and they are fully stocked with Series S systems, which I'm debating if I want to buy just so I can have every system.
Right.
They have it in stores.
Well, it's also a less powerful system, right? The PlayStation Digital is the same power, just without the disk drive in there. So it's a little more appetizing, right? As opposed to like somewhere between a Xbox One X and an Xbox Series X is the Series S. So
yes.
But I don't know. You're all kind of doom and gloom on this. I think, since this is the first step of many, and my boy Louis Rossman, who's leading a charge, who's fantastic on YouTube, go watch his videos, because he talks about it all the time. He does Apple repair and everything, and he's screaming about how all these companies are trying to make it harder for you to repair your system, down to the fact that they purposely solder and glue things on and build the things in a way that they're all kind of together, and it's very hard to repair because they're all sandwiched together. Not to mention that they monopolize all the parts. So the only way to get the part to repair the thing is to cannibalize, say, an old MacBook or an old Samsung phone or whatever, take the part out and use the part, because they don't let third-party repair shops get those parts, right? It's all in an effort to do that. But if the government's going to do this, I think this is the first step of many for right to repair, right? Because it's my hardware. Let me do what I want with it, right? Why do you get to dictate what I can do with it, right? If I want to open it up and repair it.
Cars.
Exactly. That was a big thing, I think, in the 60s and 70s. So I don't think there was really auto body repair shops and whatnot. Yes, they had them around and all that, but companies were fighting very hard to say, no, you can't fix these. You're not authorized. You don't know how to do it and whatnot. The government ruled in the favor of third party repair shops, which is crazy. Which is crazy to think that, places like Meineke and Amoco and whatever else, and all these other third party shops and whatnot, they weren't necessarily legally sanctioned. But the government ruled and said, yes, you need to be able to do this. And now you can take your car into wherever and get it repaired, which is great. It would be great if I could you can technically take your PlayStation to a shop like a game store, and they'll probably do repairs on there, but your warranty is voided if that happens,
That's true.
So it's I'm definitely hopeful for the future, because I think people are fighting the good fight right now. So I would like to think that the walls are going to be broken down.
Listen, no doubt that the walls will be broken down, and we have a bright future ahead of us. We're just going to be in a nursing home when that actually happens.
Listen, we still be alive. We'll be dealing with the PlayStation 9, and it'll be fine. Be jacked right into our brain.
No. It'll be PlayStation 12, man. At that point,
maybe, yeah.
All right, and I hate to do this, but we're going to end with some sad news. Rest in peace. I teased it earlier in the show. I was in Austin, Texas. If you listen to the beginning part of the show, Austin, I think, was the place where they had PAX South, and it looks like PAX South has ended for the foreseeable future. They won't be doing any PAX South, and I think that's sad because Austin, again, seems to have a pretty viable retro video game scene. They have a lot of retro stores. Not next to each other, though. Very, very spread out. Right. 30-minute cab rides from the city. But they seem to be cool. Like, I went to Game Over Games, and it was an awesome shop. Very organized. Very, clean as can be. That has, games that are, over 30 years old. Right? Yeah. Used games that are over 30 years old. I will say they had a lot of boxes there, Saturn box, Atari box, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, they had boxes that weren't for sale. Somebody came in and said, hey, can I buy this? Can I buy the boxes? And they weren't for sale because the guy who owns it, I guess he's also a collector, and this was from his personal collection, right? So they weren't for sale. They were just for show, which kind of makes a little bit more sense, right? You have all these things, and you have a store. You don't want to keep it in your basement. You don't want to keep.
Put them on display, liven up the store a little bit.
Yeah. But I thought these, they had a big selection, and how I can tell personally, my opinion on if the retro scene is thriving, if the store is thriving, if they have expensive games.
Sure. Yeah.
And they had some expensive games here.
Yeah.
They had some heavy hitters. I'm not saying they had a little Samson, but they had games that were $100, $200, $500, right? So they had some heavy hitters in this store. And that's just this store, right? They try to hit me with the GameStop. Hey, do you want to be a member? And I'm like, I'm just visiting. There are no Game Over Game stores where I come from.
He didn't want to sign up for their $200 total protection Game Over Games plan?
Well, if it means I can get a PlayStation 5 digital, then I definitely would have. I would have been enticed to.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, you obviously had a great time down in PAX, or down in Austin, right? I always wanted to go. Not that PAX South closing would prohibit me from going, but it's a bit of a draw to say, hey, I'm going to Texas and see how they do games. But apparently it was a combination of not kind of hitting the numbers or the attendee numbers that they wanted, and also the zombie apocalypse. Combination of the two, Reed Pop was saying, well, doesn't really make sense for us to continue doing PAX South, so we're gonna cancel it, which is sad. I'm with you on that. PAX South was the third or fourth incarnation of it, so now they just have 4, which includes PAX Australia, PAX East, PAX Unplugged in Philly, and then PAX West, which used to be PAX Prime, which is the OG one from way back in the day.
You want to go to PAX Aussie, right? You want to go to Australia?
I do before they cancel it.
Yeah. I don't. You know what? You're so worried about them canceling. I'm worried about being trapped in Australia.
Oh, come on now.
They're very strict with COVID protocol. They're very strict.
I got my booster. I'm good. I don't want
to be trapped there.
Mm-hmm.
It is sad. I hate to see anything end. You know, something. You know, where I guess if you're in Texas, you would have to, fly to Seattle, right, for PAX West.
Sure.
That would be the
or
closest.
you could go east to PAX East. I don't know which one's probably PAX West is closer.
The closest, right? Maybe a two hour compared 2 hour to 2.5 hour compared to 3.5 hour
right.
flight.
Yeah.
Well, maybe 4. You're going to Boston, right? That's another hour. It's 3.5 to get to New York, so maybe 4.5 hours to get to Boston. Mm-hmm. That's sad. That's super sad, and I wonder what we're gonna do at PAX East, right? Like the tickets, if they do have a actual PAX East event in person, right? Mm-hmm. Are we going? Are we trying to go? We're going, right? We're gonna try to go.
I think we're gonna go. Why would we not go?
I think we're gonna try to go.
I mean,
and tickets usually go on sale before Thanksgiving, right? If I'm not mistaken, like
either Thanksgiving, early December is the time they kind of go on sale. So, I mean, I'm comfortable with going.
February. I just hope it's not in February.
Well, who knows?
This time.
Who knows? I mean, now with the PAX South thing closing, maybe they'll do it digital again. I don't know, but I could see them doing a limited capacity, which will make it harder to get tickets, obviously. But
Steven, friend of the show. Come on, we need you, we need you, buddy. Steven, friend of the show, we need you.
Yeah, he always hips us to when the tickets are on sale.
Oh. So, all right, Dave, that's it. That's it for the news.
Mm-hmm.
Got any good plans for the rest of the week, rest of the weekend?
Rest of the week. Just gonna take it easy, man. Gonna enjoy this nice crisp fall air before we have to fall back and ruin it all. I hate it.
No.
I hate daylight savings time.
Daylight savings time.
I hate it.
That's next Sunday.
I know. Look, yes, you gain an hour, but at what cost?
Not really.
At what cost? Really. I know it goes away after the day. Then you're back to your regular sleep schedule. It is not worth the early sunsets. All right. Everyone gets depressed because it's dark at 4:30, and you're like, "Oh my God, it's like 10 o'clock. When is the news coming on?" And you're like, "Wait, no, it's only like 5. Jesus, I don't know what's going on anymore."
It's like being in Austin. They're an hour behind us.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. I hate it.
Just being in Austin.
You know what you do? You just spring forward, and then you just leave it, and no one will give a shit.
How about this?
It'll be fine.
We don't. How about this? We don't fall back.
Yeah.
We don't spring forward.
Yeah.
We just keep shit normal. How about that?
That's what I'm saying.
Keep shit normal.
Yeah. Well, you gotta. You're right. Now we've sprung forward, and we're good. We're good. Yep.
Yeah. It's normal. Normal. The Knicks.
What are you?
The New York Knicks. The New York Knicks have the best record in the NBA right now. I think. Yeah, the best ever. At least in the East. They're number 1 right now.
Shoot. Really?
5-1, baby. I think they're 5-1. They lost one game. And a game they shouldn't have lost too, right? Because they beat the Orlando Magic. They had a back-to-back and then they lost because they took their foot off the gas. But
so they got a team this year.
No, yeah, they got a team. There's Kemba Walker bringing scoring, bringing some scoring to the Knicks, and Tom Thibodeau teaching that defense, preaching that defense, and Derrick Rose coming off the bench, baby. So you know what I did? I did something I haven't done in a long time.
What's that?
I spent full price for the NBA 2K 2022.
Wow. Right, because it always goes on sale, right? You get the Black Friday sales? Yeah.
It always goes, I mean, listen, for Screwback Flight, you wait to December, you get it for like $20, $15, right?
Mm-hmm.
I spent $70 in the PS5 version just to see the extra sweat come down the players' faces because the Knicks are good. So I get the players, the Knicks. This is what I used to do when the Lakers were good, because I'm a Laker fan too, because by default, the Knicks always sucked growing up. So
it's a West Coast. How?
It's a known fact. It's a little known fact that if you're
a fair weather fan,
if you're a Knicks fan, you're by default a Laker fan because growing up you hate the Celtics if you're a Knicks fan.
Well,
You
sure,
hate the Celtics.
yeah. Rivalry,
hate
yeah.
the Celtics. And then the Celtics always faced the Lakers in the 80s.
Oh, so you
Celtics
go with
fall.
the opposite of the. I see. Okay.
Okay.
Makes a little more sense.
So I was a big Magic Johnson fan, a big Lakers fan.
Sure you were.
Because Bernard King couldn't take us past the first round or even to the playoffs in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And in the 90s, we had Patrick Ewing,
John
Starks, Latrell Sprewell, Allen Houston, Anthony Mason. Anthony Mason, which that Biggie song has been confirmed that Biggie song was about Anthony Mason.
Peace. I did not know.
Charles Oakley.
They are actually a team that you wanted to play as in NBA Jam because they were on a streak that time. I think that was the year they won, right? 94?
Well, they didn't win anything. They went to the finals.
Oh, they went to the
finals.
Yeah.
They made
it to the big game.
They made it to the big stage twice in 94 and in 99 2000.
Yeah.
Or no. 98 99. No, 98 99, the lockout year when Jordan retired. They made it to the finals.
Oh yeah, I forgot all the baseball strike, the basketball strike. I think there was almost a football strike. I forgot about that.
So I'm playing some NBA 2K22, baby, with my Knicks.
Nice.
Getting it in.
Nice. There you go.
So yeah, that's about it.
Nice. All right, good deal. Well, folks, that is episode 294. It's our first episode post-Halloween, post-best holiday of the year. Come on now. We want to thank you guys for listening to the show, for liking, commenting, and doing all the good stuff that you guys do. If you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. Also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. You can check out all of the fine podcasts featured on there at gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.